The Demon Queen marched on my kingdom with 80,000 soldiers, and the first thought that crashed through my head wasn't about tactics or survival, it was whether or not she remembered my face. That sounds insane. Because it was. I had spent 11 years preparing for this single moment, every waking hour shaped by the fear of a girl I'd pulled from a burning carriage. Below the capital, the black banners of Nether stretched across the valley like a stain on the world, endless and suffocating. Winged cavalry spiraled above the walls, their shadows sliding over the stone like omen-given form. Demon siege beasts stood in neat rows between armored infantry, each one a walking fortress with breath like furnace fire. And at the very center of that nightmare, Queen Mirabelle Noctis rode forward, silver hair, violet horns, red eyes, exactly as the novel had painted her, exactly as I remembered the child I thought I'd saved 11 years ago. I stood beneath a white negotiation flag, one hand resting on my sword, one thought rattling around my skull like a trapped bird. Please, for the love of everything, do not call me husband. In the original novel, Mirabelle became utterly obsessed with the human who rescued her as a child. She invaded 3 kingdoms, executed 2 princes, burned a cathedral to ash, and kidnapped the man during his own wedding, then declared the war resolved because she had acquired the only territory she actually wanted. Him. I had spent my entire second life making absolutely certain that man would not be me. I never sent her gifts, never wrote letters, never visited the demon border without military necessity, never accepted a political engagement that might put me in her path. I even changed my sword style because the novel mentioned she remembered the savior's stance. That level of paranoia should have been more than enough. Mirabelle dismounted from her beast and walked toward me. My soul mentally drafted a resignation letter from existence itself. Her red eyes moved over my face, scanning, searching, measuring. Then she frowned. Have we met? I almost collapsed from relief. No. Technically a lie. Emotionally? A miracle. Mirabelle looked at the human delegation behind me, then back at my face. You seem familiar. Less wonderful. Before I could craft a response that wouldn't dig my grave deeper, another woman stepped from the demon carriage behind her. Older, quieter, with long black hair streaked with silver near one temple. Golden eyes. No crown. No battle armor. She wore a dark diplomatic gown and carried a thin book tucked beneath one arm like a scholar heading to lecture. Princess Serene Noctis, Miravelle's older sister. In the novel, she appeared in 4 chapters, spoke maybe 12 lines total, refused the demon throne, and vanished before the final war even started. I had barely thought about her in 11 years. She looked at me once, just once, then smiled, not politely, not diplomatically, personally. Your left hand still closes when you are frightened. My fingers snapped open instantly. The valley, the armies, the negotiation, all of it disappeared from my attention. That sentence. I had said something almost exactly like it to the child in the burning carriage. Asterisk, keep your hand open. If you clench it, the broken glass will cut deeper. Asterisk. I stared at Serene like she had just pulled the floor out from under my feet. She tilted her head, golden eyes glinting with quiet amusement. Sir Eden Hailward. Mirabelle looked between us, confusion sharpening her features. You know him? Serene's smile became softer, more dangerous. Very well. My stomach dropped through the earth. The Demon Queen barely remembered me. Her forgotten older sister knew the nervous habit I'd had when I was 17. Then Serene added, voice calm as still water, you have been watching the wrong princess for 11 years. That was the moment every precaution I had ever taken became completely, utterly useless. My name is Eden Hailward, but in my first life, I was Minge 27, exhausted, an insurance clerk who made the fatal mistake of reading a fantasy web novel until 3 in the morning before an early shift. The novel was called The Black Crown Descends. It was about a human hero named Lucan, a demon invasion, 6 magical relics, and Queen Mirabelle Noctis, who became the final antagonist after the human kingdoms murdered her family. The book was famous for exactly 2 things, excellent battle sequences and a terrifyingly obsessive romance subplot. Miravelle's obsession with the unnamed knight who saved her when she was 9. The novel never revealed his identity. He appeared only in flashbacks, a young human knight pulling Mirabelle from a burning carriage during a border riot, giving her his cloak, telling her not to cry, then vanishing into the chaos. Years later, she remembered him too much. The knight eventually became engaged to a human noblewoman. Mirabelle invaded. The fandom called him the unluckiest man alive. Then I died, not dramatically, no truck, no god, no grand sacrifice. I Simply fell asleep at my desk and woke inside a training yard with a wooden sword in my hand and a 17-year-old body I didn't recognize. I was Eden Hailward now, minor knight apprentice, son of a dead border officer, no important bloodline, no magic, no role in the novel. Perfect. I made 3 rules. Do not become heroic. Do not get involved with the main cast. Never rescue a demon princess from a burning carriage. The 3rd rule lasted 8 months. I was traveling with a supply escort near the dusk border when we found the wreck, a diplomatic carriage attacked by bandits. Blackwood, Demon Crest, fire everywhere. My captain ordered us to stay back. The border was tense. Saving demons could become a political incident with deadly consequences. Then I heard a child screaming. Rules become a lot harder to follow when they have voices. I ran. One guard followed me into the flames. The carriage roof had collapsed inward, and inside, through the smoke, I saw silver hair and small horns and a royal necklace gleaming in the firelight. My brain stopped functioning entirely. No. Absolutely not. This was the scene, the novel's scene, Miravel's rescue. I had somehow arrived at the exact event I had spent 8 months desperately avoiding. I considered turning around for perhaps half a second. Then the carriage beam fell, and the child screamed again. I went in. I cut the harness, moved burning fabric aside, pulled her through a broken side door. She was smaller than I expected, maybe 10 years old, blood on her forehead, one hand sliced by broken glass, her eyes barely open. I wrapped her in my cloak, and she grabbed my sleeve with trembling fingers. Don't leave. Those 3 words became the soundtrack to my paranoia for the next decade. I said, I need to get the others. Her grip tightened like I was the only solid thing in a burning world. I gently opened her fingers. Keep your hand open. If you clench it, the glass cuts deeper. She stared at me with golden eyes. That should have mattered. The novel said Miravel had red eyes. I knew that, I absolutely knew that. But I also knew demon children's eyes sometimes changed after awakening. I made the stupidest possible assumption because the situation matched everything else. Royal child. Silver in her hair from firelight. Demon carriage. Same age. Same border region. This had to be Miravel. I rescued her, then went back for the others. There was another girl inside, unconscious, silver-haired, red-eyed. I never saw her face clearly. Demon guards arrived before we could extract her, pushing us away. A royal mage teleported both children and surviving attendants across the border. The entire event lasted 7 minutes. I spent 11 years misreading those 7 minutes. Afterward, I asked who had been in the carriage. Our captain said 2 demon princesses, younger Miravel, older Serene. I nearly stopped breathing entirely. Which one had I carried? No one knew. The border report listed both as injured. The cloak was never returned. I told myself probability favored Miravel. The novel's flashback existed. The unnamed savior existed. I had probably become him. That meant my job was simple: do not let the future demon queen become obsessed. But how do you prevent obsession from a girl you cannot contact without making yourself more memorable? You do nothing, aggressively. I stayed away, changed units, refused border commendations, stopped wearing the same cloak color. Then I began monitoring Miravel from a distance, not stalking, I told myself, strategic terror. Any report mentioning the demon princess crossed my desk eventually. Miravel entered the War Academy at 13. At 14, Miravel defeated a wyvern in single combat. At 15, she challenged a noble heir to a duel and won. At 16, Miravel reportedly broke a table because a human envoy insulted someone unnamed. I assumed that unnamed person was me. At 18, she rejected 3 marriage candidates in a single season. Panic. The novel said she rejected all marriages because she remembered her savior. I refused my own engagement proposal that same month. My uncle called me an idiot. He was correct for entirely the wrong reason. At 19, Miravel became heir to another. At 20, she led border forces personally. At 21, she publicly demanded revised trade access to human territories. I interpreted every single move through one terrifying possibility: she was coming. Meanwhile, Serene Noctis barely appeared in any reports. That fit the novel perfectly: older princess, scholar, politically quiet, no interest in succession. Sometimes she represented another at archives or temple negotiations. I saw her twice across conference halls, once at 22, once at 25. Both times she looked at me. I assumed she vaguely recognized a human knight from childhood. Both times she said nothing. Both times Miravel was nearby. So naturally, I kept watching Miravel. Serene made that easy. Too easy. My career became strangely tangled with demon affairs, not because I wanted it, but because someone kept arranging circumstances around me. My first major promotion came after our northern garrison commander was exposed for selling military grain. I had discovered the discrepancy accidentally. The evidence reached the War Ministry before I submitted it. Anonymous source. The commander was arrested. I became quarter captain. 3 years later, I was transferred away from a border fortress 2 weeks before it was destroyed by a magical landslide. The transfer order came from the capital with no signature I recognized. Then I received command of the 5th Escort Company after another officer withdrew unexpectedly to marry a provincial heiress. Then my own proposed marriage to Lady Talia Murin collapsed when her family received proof that their estate steward had stolen royal taxes. True proof. Terrible timing. I assumed fate was protecting me from Miravel's eventual meltdown. In reality, someone else was editing my life around the edges. I just didn't know whose hand held the pen. The novel's main plot started when I was 28, right on schedule. Human Prince Garrick ordered a raid on a demon shrine. Another retaliated. Hero Lucan awakened holy fire. The Black Crown prophecy resurfaced. Miravel took command of the demon armies. I knew what came next: 3 years of escalating war, then Miravel's coronation, then obsession. I tried to resign. The War Ministry rejected it. Reason: specialized border knowledge. I requested transfer inland. Approved, then reversed. Reason: royal necessity. I considered desertion, then remembered desertion carries execution. Unhelpful. So I made one final plan. If Miravel invaded and recognized me, I would tell her directly, "Thank you for remembering, but I am not interested. Please do not invade civilization over it." Very mature. Very unlikely to work. Then the invasion came, and Miravel barely remembered me. And Serene remembered everything. Back in the negotiation valley, I could hear my own heartbeat hammering against my ribs. Miravel looked annoyed, arms crossed. Wrong princess? Serene's golden eyes remained fixed on me. You never told her? Told me what? Miravel's voice sharpened. I looked at the younger queen. You were in the carriage at dusk border. Yes. 11 years ago. Yes. A human knight pulled one of you out. Miravel thought for a moment, then shrugged. Serene. My world tilted violently. That's simple. No hidden memory, no secret identity, no magical eye change. I had rescued the older sister. The child I held had been Serene. Miravel had been unconscious inside, the one I never saw clearly. I stared at Serene like she had just rewritten my entire existence. She looked almost pleased by my horror. You knew I thought it was her. Yes. How? Because you watched her. Miravel made a face. You watched me? Strategic terror suddenly sounded much less defensible. Not like that. Serene's smile widened by one dangerous degree. I know. That was worse. I asked, how long? Since you attended the White River Summit when I was 17. 6 years after the rescue, she had recognized me. Then I remembered that summit. Miravel sat at the main table, Serene sat behind the demon archivists. I had spent the entire meeting monitoring Miravel's reactions. Serene had been 12 feet away, watching me watch her sister. You could have told me. I could have. Why didn't you? Serene looked toward Miravel, then back at me. Because you were much easier to keep when you were afraid of the wrong woman. The negotiation field went dead silent around us. Miravel slowly turned toward her sister. Keep? I had exactly the same question. Serene opened the thin book she carried. Inside were pages of dates, human names, battle locations, marriage proposals, transfer orders, my life, not metaphorically, my actual life. She turned to the first marked page. Eden Hailward transfer from Western Fortress. Next. Talia Murin engagement terminated. Next. 5th Escort Command assignment secured. Next. Southern Expedition redirected. I stopped breathing entirely. You did these? Yes. For 11 years? 10 years. Some months. Miravel stared at her sister like she'd never seen her before. You interfered with human military appointments? Yes. For him? Yes. Queen Mirabelle Noctis, future terror of the continent, looked more disturbed than I felt. That achievement deserved recognition. Serene closed the book gently. And now, she said softly, we should discuss why this war actually exists. I laughed once, hollow and sharp. What? You think my sister invaded because prophecy forced her? That was the original, I almost said novel. Serene noticed, of course she did, her gaze sharpening instantly. Original what? Expectation. Weak recovery. She let it pass. For a decade, every major prophecy in both kingdoms had pointed toward Mirabelle. Black Crown. Demon Queen. Human Hero. Final War. I redirected them. Silence. Mirabelle looked at her sister. You what? Serene's calm expression didn't move. The prophecies originally pointed to me. That was the second time my understanding of the story died in one afternoon. Mirabelle spoke first, voice flat. The Black Crown prophecy names the ruler born beneath the violet eclipse. Serene nodded. You were born 3 years later. Mirabelle's red eyes narrowed dangerously. I remembered the novel, the prophecy had always been vague. When the violet crown darkens the winter sky, the second daughter of night shall bear the black crown. Readers assumed second daughter. Asterisk meant Mirabelle because 2 older demon children had died in infancy and court records counted only surviving heirs. Apparently, that explanation was spectacularly wrong. Serene was the second daughter born to the royal line. Mirabelle was the second surviving daughter. Tiny difference, continental consequences. I asked, why did everyone believe it meant Mirabelle? Serene opened her book again. Because I made sure they did. Mirabelle stepped closer. You changed temple records? Yes. Our family chronicles? Yes. The Oracle Vault? Partly. You forged prophecy? No. Serene's voice remained calm. I changed interpretation. That sounded like forgery with scholarly confidence. She explained, prophecies were not single sentences delivered by dramatic old women. They came from the obsidian loom, an ancient magical archive beneath the demon capital. The loom recorded possible futures as symbolic fragments, images, crowns, bloodlines, moons, relationships. Priests interpreted them, kings published selected versions, historians argued for centuries. Serene had been assigned to the prophecy archive at 13 because she refused military training and showed unusual memory magic. She learned quickly that prophecies were less like commands and more like maps, multiple routes, different outcomes. Then she found the Black Crown sequence. The original fragments pointed toward her older princess, golden-eyed, survives a fire at the human border, forms an attachment to a human blade bearer, becomes the center of the final war. I looked at her. Human blade bearer? You. You are carrying the same sword. I looked at my sword. Damn. She continued, in the first version she read, the human knight died during a political marriage between her emir and the eastern duchies. Serene retaliated. Mirabelle tried to stop her. Human hero Lucan killed Mirabelle by mistake. Serene took the Black Crown. Final war. Different details. Same catastrophe. So 13-year-old Serene did something intelligent and absolutely terrifying. She changed the labels, not the magical fragments themselves, but the catalog around them. Golden-eyed elder princess became second surviving princess. Human blade bearer became border knight. Elder crown claimant became younger war heir. Future priests reading the archive reached a different conclusion. Mirabelle became the center. Serene became background. The story I read had not described reality incorrectly, it had described the lie that successfully became history. That thought made my skin crawl. Mirabelle crossed her arms. You made me the prophesied monster. I made you the visible target. That is not better. It kept the assassins watching you. Mirabelle's expression became murderous. Serene added, you enjoyed killing them. Mirabelle paused. Some. I asked, why redirected instead of destroying the prophecy? The loom cannot be destroyed without collapsing every royal ward tied to it. Convenient. She had also tried hiding the fragments, but they reappeared. Burning copies, they reproduced. Changing interpretation worked because prophecy magic cared less about labels than people did. If every army, priest, spy, and noble believed Mirabelle was the Black Crown Queen, history began organizing around that assumption. Exactly what happened. Mirabelle trained for war. The human kingdoms feared her. Heroes prepared to fight her. Serene became invisible. And I watched Mirabelle. That last part was not accidental. I looked at Serene. You knew I was afraid of the prophecy. Eventually. How? Your reports. My reports. She smiled. You wrote unusually detailed assessments of Mirabelle's military behavior. Those were confidential. Human War Ministry confidential. I stared. You had spies in our ministry. 3. Mirabelle raised one eyebrow. Serene corrected herself. Currently 2. I didn't ask what happened to the third. Probably retirement. Hopefully. She had seen my reports, the way I tracked Mirabelle's movements, marriage refusals, appointments, border travel. Serene realized I believed Mirabelle was the girl from the carriage. She could have corrected me. Instead, she preserved the mistake. Why? Her golden eyes met mine. Because when you watched her, you stayed where I could watch you. There it was, the Yandere logic, quiet, efficient, horrifyingly patient. Mirabelle looked at me with new sympathy. I never expected sympathy from the Demon Queen to become part of my life. Serene continued, if I had known the rescued child was Serene, I might have avoided her. Correct. I might have transferred inland. Correct. I might have married early to establish distance. Very correct. I might have warned the human court about the actual Black Crown subject. Also possible. Instead, I kept watching Mirabelle, which kept me assigned to demon intelligence, which kept my career near border diplomacy, which kept my reports flowing through channels Serene controlled. I had voluntarily built the observation tower she used to watch me. That hurt professionally. Then I remembered Lady Talia. Political marriage? Serene's expression changed slightly. Yes. You exposed her family's tax theft. The steward's theft. You sent the documents. Yes. To cancel the engagement. Yes. Did you know she had nothing to do with it? Yes. Anger arrived finally, not confusion, not fear, simple, burning anger. You used a corruption investigation to destroy her marriage prospects. I exposed a crime to stop her marrying you. Yes. She didn't hide behind ethics. That almost made it worse. Mirabelle muttered, I told you that was excessive. I looked at her. You knew? Not who. Mirabelle pointed at her sister. She has ruined 7 marriages in 10 years. Serene's eyes sharpened. 4. 7. 3 were strategically invalid. 7. I felt something leave my body. How many involved me? Serene didn't answer. Mirabelle looked delighted now. Sister. Serene sighed. 6. I closed my eyes. 6. I had only known about 2 serious proposals. Apparently, she had destroyed possibilities before they even reached me. I asked for the list. She said, later. I said, now. She looked at the 80,000 soldier army behind us. Perhaps after the invasion. Fair. Then I remembered the invasion itself. Why are we negotiating if you redirected the prophecy? Serene's expression became serious. Because someone found the original fragments. 3 months earlier, human archseer Vost Renar entered the neutral Temple of Ash under diplomatic protection. Vost led the Celestial Synod in the novel. He was a minor human prophet who warned King Garrick about demon invasion. I remembered him as boring. Dangerous people benefit from poor characterization. Vost accessed a mirrored prophecy vault and found contradictions between published Black Crown interpretations and older symbolic records. Then he did what ambitious religious officials always do when discovering a secret, he weaponized it. He sent another a recovered prophecy fragment. Serene Noctis takes the Black Crown after the younger queen falls to human fire. Then he sent the human king a different fragment, asterisk the Black Crown rises only after the demon sisters cross the sunken field. Asterisk. Both true pieces, placed without context. Neither believed humans planned to kill Mirabelle and force Serene onto the throne. Humans believed the demon sisters crossing the sunken field would trigger the final war. Both sides mobilized. Then Vost arranged a border massacre, demon villagers killed with human weapons, human scouts killed with demon curses. Classic, effective, devastating. The invasion became politically unavoidable. Miravel needed to show strength. Human King Garrick needed to defend the capital. Hero Lucan awakened holy fire 2 months early. The plot was accelerating toward the original final war not because prophecy demanded it, but because Vost understood everyone expected it. Serain had hidden the real route for a decade. Vost found it. Now he was forcing history to choose. Why? I asked. Miravel answered. The Black Crown. Serain nodded. The Black Crown is not merely a title. It is a relic tied to the obsidian loom. Whoever completes the prophecy sequence can command the loom's wards across both kingdoms. Vost wanted Serain crowned during a controlled collapse, then planned to bind her through a human relic called the Saint's Chain. Use the Black Crown to control demon prophecy and human holy wards simultaneously. Continental theocracy. She paused. Ambitious. I asked Serain, and you brought an army here to force a negotiation before Vost could trigger the sunken field battle? I looked around. We were standing on the sunken field. Serain looked mildly embarrassed. I stared. You chose the prophecy location for peace talks? It was the only place both armies would accept. That seems suspiciously convenient. Miravel pointed at her sister. I said the same thing. Serain had another reason. Me, of course. She knew I would be assigned to the human negotiation guard because of my border experience. She needed me present. Why me? Serain looked toward the human banners. Because Vost's next prophecy involves you. My stomach dropped. Naturally. She opened her book. Copied fragment. Asterisk the human knight who saved the crown bearer shall fall between sisters. And his blood shall choose which queen the world remembers, asterisk. I stared at the sentence. Absolutely not. Miravel nodded. Reasonable. Serain's hand tightened around the page. This appeared 2 weeks ago. Does Vost know I am the knight? Yes. How? I do not know. That was concerning. Serain knew everything. If she didn't know, Vost had a source she couldn't see. Then arrows fell. Not from either army, from the ridge above the negotiation ground. Black shafts, silver tips, human fletching, demon poison designed to blame everyone. Miravel drew her sword. Serain didn't. She grabbed me, not metaphorically, both arms around my chest. A black ward erupted around us. 3 arrows shattered against it. I could feel her heartbeat through my armor. Fast, much faster than her face suggested. Serain. She didn't release me. Miravel shouted orders. Human guards raised shields. More arrows fell. Then one struck Miravel's shoulder. Her armor cracked. Holy light exploded from the tip. Lucan's fire, except Lucan was standing 50 yards away, looking absolutely horrified. Forgery. Vost had copied the hero's holy signature. Miravel dropped to one knee, and every demon soldier saw their queen struck by human holy fire. The field erupted. There it was, the battle prophecy triggered in seconds. Serain's arms tightened around me like iron bands. I looked at her. If we stay here, this becomes the ending. Her eyes were gold fire. I can remove you. What? I have a gate prepared. Of course she did. Where? Safe house? No. Underground? No. Her expression didn't change. Eden, no. Vost's prophecy needs your blood, so protect the field. I am protecting you. That is not the same thing. It is to me. There, her first fully open admission. Around us, armies were beginning to move, human shields, demon cavalry, one misunderstanding away from catastrophe. Serain had spent 10 years redirecting history, so I stayed alive. Now she wanted to solve the final crisis by removing me from history entirely. Safe house, no battlefield, no choice. I took her wrists. Look at Miravel. She did. Her sister was standing again, bleeding, trying to stop her own troops from charging. Your decoy is about to die for the prophecy you put on her. That hit. Serain released me, and we ran toward the center of the field. Not away. For once, she followed my direction. The sunken field was designed for cavalry, flat. White, almost no cover, a terrible place to stop 2 armies once everyone had decided the other side fired first. Miravel climbed onto a broken stone marker and shouted in demon command language. Half her front line stopped. The other half didn't hear. Human horns sounded. Our left formation advanced. Lucan ran toward King Garrick's banner with holy fire around his sword, yelling that he had not fired the arrow. Nobody listens to the hero when the hero's magic signature is currently embedded in a queen. I knew one way to make armies hesitate: confusion. I grabbed the signal horn from a fallen standard-bearer and blew the retreat pattern. The human front rank stopped. The officer beside me shouted, "Who ordered retreat?" "No one." "Exactly." Then I blew advance. Then parley. Then fire warning. Every nearby unit froze because none of the signals made sense together. Military discipline briefly defeated bloodlust. Mirabelle understood. She ordered her own drummers to play 3 contradictory commands. Demon troops slowed. Serene looked at me. "That is terrible procedure." "It is excellent procedure when procedure is the problem." Lucan reached us, holy fire burning across his hands. I did not attack her. Mirabelle pulled the arrow from her shoulder. "Obviously." Lucan blinked. "You believe me? The workmanship is insulting." She held up the shaft. The holy rune had been carved backward. Even I could see it. One demon commander still wanted battle. Serene walked toward him, said something quiet. He went pale, then ordered his troops back. I asked what she said. "He has a mistress in the human capital." I stared. Relevant. She is 6 months pregnant. The commander had been hiding that. Serene had been collecting blackmail on everyone. Of course. The immediate battle stopped, barely. We moved both delegations into an abandoned watch fort in the center of the field. Demon soldiers held east, humans west. Nobody trusted anyone. Perfect diplomacy. We examined the forged arrow. Lucan's holy fire didn't come from the shaft itself, it came from powdered glass embedded beneath the tip, temple glass used by the Celestial Synod to store copied blessings. Vost's proof, but not enough. King Garrick wanted a confession. Mirabelle wanted Vost's head. Serene wanted me inside a locked room. I rejected all 3, in order. Then Mirabelle laughed. I looked at her. "What? You really thought I was obsessed with you? Can we not?" "No." Serene's eyes narrowed at her sister. Mirabelle ignored her. "You spent 11 years refusing marriage because you thought I would invade." I said nothing. Lucan slowly moved away from the conversation. "Coward." Mirabelle smiled. "That is the funniest thing this war has produced." Serene said, "Enough." Miravelle's smile became brighter. "Oh, you dislike him discussing marriage?" Silence. I learned something important: demon queens enjoy annoying older sisters as much as normal siblings do. I turned to Serene. "The list." She knew exactly what I meant. "Later." "No." Mirabelle sat on the table. "I also want the list." Serene glared. I waited. Finally, she removed 6 folded pages from her book. "Prepared." "Of course. Potential marriages, not proposals, potential. Lady Talia Murin, Lady Ain Voss, Merchant Heir Renal, Widowed Baroness Fiasol, Knight Captain Maravent, Princess Yal of Eastir." I stared. "I never met Princess Yal." "You would have." "What did you do?" Her diplomatic route changed. "How?" "A bridge inspection found structural failure." "Was the bridge unsafe?" "Yes." "Did you know she would meet me if it stayed open?" "Yes." I closed my eyes. "Renla?" "Her father chose another military supplier because his competitor offered better terms." "Did you arrange the terms?" "Yes." Fiasol moved to the southern estates. "Why?" "Her land dispute was resolved." "By you?" "Yes." Mirabelle looked impressed. "She didn't poison anyone." Serene's face cooled. "That was never an option." I appreciated the clarification less than expected. Then I found Maravent a fellow knight, we had trained together, good friend. At 26, she suddenly accepted a command on the western coast. I had always wondered why. Serene looked away. Anger returned. Mara wanted the posting. She complained about it for 6 months. She later liked it. That is not the point. Serene's eyes met mine. I saw a prophecy fragment. "What fragment?" "2 swords beneath one roof." "That means marriage." "No." "Then it suggested permanence." I laughed. You redirected her career because a symbol suggested we might stay friends? Her face hardened. Yes. There it was, not clever strategy, not war prevention. Jealousy, quiet enough to rearrange an officer's life rather than admit it. I put the pages down. That stops. Eden. No. Miravel watched carefully now. Serene's voice became softer. I can stop interfering. Not can. She understood. You will. Without deciding which people are dangerous for me. Without moving someone because you dislike the future they might create. Without making Miravel look like she is secretly coming to kidnap me. Miravel laughed again. Serene looked genuinely embarrassed. That was new. How much of that was deliberate? I asked. She sighed. Some. Define some. The reports about her rejected marriage candidates were real. Miravel nodded. I disliked them. The rumor that she kept a human cloak in her private room was false. I stared. That rumor had cost me 3 weeks of sleep. The report that she asked for my military file. Me. The anonymous warning saying the Demon Queen knew my sword style. Me. Miravel looked horrified. You made him think I was stalking him. Serene's expression stayed calm. You benefited from the reputation. I already had a reputation. Yes. You are insane, coming from Miravel, that carried weight. Serene ignored her. Why scare me? I asked. Her answer came quietly. Because fear kept you careful. About you. About attachment. There it was, if I believed a future Demon Queen might destroy anyone I loved, I would avoid relationships. She didn't need to stop every marriage herself. I would do it for her. Efficient, cruel, Yandere behavior through misinformation. I felt more violated by that than the career manipulations. Serene saw it. Her expression changed, not defensive, ashamed. I know. Good. Before we could go further, the fort bells rang. A human priest entered under guard, carrying a sealed letter from Vost. Not suspicious at all. The letter was addressed to me. Eden Hailward. The handwriting inside was elegant. Asterisk, you have spent a decade misreading the prophecy. Come to the Temple of Ash before midnight, or I will correct your mistake publicly. Beneath it, bring both princesses, asterisk. Miravel said, trap. Yes. Serene said, we are not going. I looked at her. We are. No. Vost knows the prophecy. So do I. He knows something you don't. Her eyes sharpened. That offended her professionally. Useful. The Temple of Ash stood 12 miles from the sunken field, neutral ground, ancient, built before either kingdom. The obsidian loom had a mirrored receiver beneath it. Vost could access fragments there without entering Nether. That was where he found the original sequence. We left armies under ceasefire, a small group, me, Serene, Miravel, Lucan, Captain Maravent, who had arrived with Western reinforcements and looked very confused when I apologized for a career transfer I hadn't caused. Serene looked even less pleased when Mara hugged me. Progress was immediately tested. She passed. Technically, no one vanished. The Temple of Ash was empty. Too empty. Candles already lit. Mirrors covered the walls. At the center stood Archseer Vost Renar. He looked older than the novel illustration, late 50s, thin white gold priest robes, one eye clouded, no army. He didn't need one. Around him floated prophecy fragments made from black glass. Hundreds. Serene stopped. Those were stolen loon records. Vost smiled. Princess. He looked at Miravel. Queen. Then Lucan. Hero. Finally me. Mistake. I hated him instantly. He raised one fragment. The burning carriage. I saw it inside the glass, not memory, prophecy recording. 17-year-old me running into fire, child Serene inside, my cloak around her. Then a second image, Serene as adult, black crown above her head, my body at her feet. I stopped breathing. Vost smiled. This is the sequence she spent 10 years hiding. Serene's magic darkened the mirrors. Do not listen. I wanted to. She looked at me with fear, not of Vost, of information that mattered. Vost continued. The black crown does not activate because a royal heir takes it. He pointed at me. It activates when the rescued princess loses the person who changed her fate. Miravel's face hardened. I understood the Savior's death was not random tragedy, it was the trigger. Serane's grief awakened the Black Crown. That was why every prophecy placed my death before her rise. That was why she redirected battles, marriages, assignments, everything, not only obsession. If I died, the final war became structurally likely. I looked at her. How long have you known? Silence. Serane. Since I was 16. 9 years. She had known my death was a crown trigger for 9 years. That explained protection. It did not excuse the deception. Vost looked delighted by the fracture between us. Then he showed another fragment, a different future. Me old, gray-haired, alive, Serane beside me. No crown, no war. Hope. Then the image continued, the obsidian loom cracked, demon wards failed, a buried army beneath another awakened, cities burned. I stared. Vost said, his survival is also catastrophic. Of course, story logic had no moderation. If Serane never took the Black Crown, an ancient sealed legion called the Hollow Host eventually escaped because only the crown ruler could command the loom's deepest ward. So prophecy created a solution: kill me, break Serane, crown her, defeat the host, save the realm. Efficient. Horrible. Vost spread his hands. I am not creating the ending. I am completing the necessary one. There it was, a man using inevitability as permission. Serane stepped forward. There are other routes. Name one. She said nothing. For 10 years she had found delays, detours, substitutions, not resolution. Vost smiled. You did not redirect fate. You postponed accounting. That line hit all of us like a physical blow. Then the temple doors sealed. Saint's chain erupted from the floored golden links wrapped around Miravel. Lucan cut one. 3 more appeared. Mara attacked Vost. A prophecy mirror flashed. She stumbled, saw something, froze. Vost had prepared personal futures for everyone. Miravel saw her kingdom burning. Lucan saw himself killing her. Mara saw the western coast destroyed. Serane saw me dead again. Her magic exploded, exactly what Vost wanted. The black glass fragments rotated around her, forming a crown shape. I ran toward her. Serane. She didn't hear. Vost smiled. Grief does not require death, only belief. He was trying to activate the Black Crown using a false future, not kill me first, but convince her I was already lost. Every mirror around Serane showed a different version of my death, battle, poison, marriage, assassination, old age, execution, disappearance. Hundreds. Her worst decade turned visible. She screamed. The temple shook. I grabbed her shoulders. She looked through me, not at me, at all the versions where I was gone. I did the only thing I could think of. I opened her left hand. Her fingers were clenched so tightly her nails had cut her own skin. Keep your hand open. She froze. The burning carriage, 11 years ago. Her golden eyes focused on me. I repeated it, voice steady despite everything. If you clench it, the glass cuts deeper. The Black Crown formation stopped. Serane looked at me. Present. Alive. Not prophecy. Not future me. Vost's smile vanished. Good. I said, you spent 10 years watching every possible ending. Her breathing shook. Yes. Look at one thing you didn't predict. What? I smiled. I found out. That wasn't much. It was enough. Her grip relaxed. The mirrors cracked. Then Miravel broke the saint's chain with her horns, very dramatic, very younger sister. Lucan laughed. Vost didn't. The fight finally started. Miravel attacked first, no warning, ripping one golden chain from the floor and swinging it like a whip. Vost raised a mirror, the chain passed through his reflection, not him. Lucan struck the opposite side. Same result. The temple mirrors were distributing his position across possible locations, every prophecy fragment gave him another place to stand. Annoying. Serane recovered faster than I expected. She looked at the Black Crown fragments still hovering around her, then at Vost. You need me frightened. He smiled. I need you honest. No. Her voice became cold. You need me predictable. That landed harder. For 10 years, Serane had been doing exactly what he did, reading futures, moving people, eliminating uncertainty. Vost simply operated on a larger scale. She saw it. I saw that she saw it. Good growth during combat. Efficient. Mara threw a knife at one mirror. It shattered. Vost flickered. Lucan understood. Break the futures. Mirabelle grinned. Finally, a strategy suited her personality. She smashed 3 mirrors with the stolen chain. Lucan destroyed 2 more. Mara went after the smaller prophecy glass around the walls. I stayed near Serene, not because she needed protection, but because Vost kept showing her my corpse whenever I moved more than 10 feet away. Petty. Effective. I asked, can the Black Crown be activated without me dying? She shook her head. Not according to the preserved sequence. According to Vost. According to every fragment I found. Fragments. She looked at me. The word mattered. Prophecy came in pieces. Interpretation created the route. Serene had proven that for a decade. Vost had proven it again. I pointed at the line carved into the temple floor. The human knight who saved the crown bearer shall fall between sisters, and his blood shall choose which queen the world remembers. Fall does not always mean die. Serene stared. Mirabelle shouted while smashing a mirror. Now would be a good time for linguistic optimism. I continued, blood chooses. Yes, but it does not say blood must be taken. Serene's golden eyes widened. Vost heard. His expression changed. Excellent. I drew my dagger. Serene grabbed my wrist. No. I am not killing myself. Any blood. Small amount. No. Serene. No. Mirabelle shouted, I support him. Serene glared at her. Of course you do. Sisters remain sisters during apocalyptic prophecy. I cut my palm. Shallow. Enough. Serene looked ready to murder theology itself. My blood hit the carved line. Nothing happened. Vost laughed. Then I stepped between the sisters, literally Mirabelle on my right, Serene on my left. The prophecy said fall between sisters. So I sat down, on purpose. Mirabelle stared. Serene stared. Lucan actually laughed in the middle of fighting. Vost stopped laughing. My blood touched the central symbol. The entire temple rang, not bells, stone. The mirrored receiver beneath us awakened. Black light rose through the floor. A vision opened. The obsidian loom, hundreds of miles away, connected through prophecy. The line changed. The human knight who saved the crown bearer shall fall between sisters, completed. Asterisk his blood shall choose which queen the world remembers. Asterisk. A second symbol appeared, 2 crowns, 1 black, 1 silver. Choice, not sacrifice. Vost shouted, do not touch it. That confirmed everything. Serene looked at me. You choose. No. Her face changed. I smiled. My blood opened the choice. It does not mean I own it. She stared. Then who? You. Mirabelle stepped closer. Us. That was better. The sisters placed their hands over the symbols. The loom responded, not to title, not to prophecy, to bloodline. Mirabelle's silver crown represented current rule. Serene's black crown represented deep ward authority. The old system had treated those as one office. They did not have to remain one. Serene looked at Mirabelle. You keep the throne. Mirabelle blinked. Obviously. Serene almost smiled. I take the ward key. Temporarily. Agreed. That was the first political negotiation between them I had witnessed without hidden manipulation. Beautiful. Vost attacked, finally, personally, a blade of white prophecy light forming in his hand. He came for me because if I died now, the old trigger could still overwrite the new route. Serene moved. I shouted, no. She stopped herself, hardest thing she had done all night. Mirabelle blocked Vost instead, steel needing holy light. Lucan struck from behind. Vost turned. Mara kicked the final mirror stand over. All alternate positions collapsed. For the first time, he existed in one place. Very inconvenient for him. Serene raised one hand, not toward Vost, toward the loom. The black crown descended, not onto her head, into her palm. A small ring of obsidian light. The ward key. The ancient hollow host beneath Nether awakened. I felt it through the temple connection, thousands of sealed presences waiting. Vost smiled despite the swords around him. There. The prophecy completes. Serene looked at the black light in her hand. Then she said, no. She closed her fingers. Administration begins. The hollow host did not rise. It received a new order, asterisk remains sealed. Asterisk. Miravel's crown flared silver. The royal ward system transferred command recognition to both sisters. One ruled, one maintained deep prophecy wards. No death. No final war. No forced crown. The loom rewrote its interpretation around living choices. Vost went pale. You cannot alter sacred sequence. Serene looked at him. I have been altering it since I was 13. That was the most confident thing she said all night. Then she added, I was simply doing it badly. I appreciated the honesty. Vost tried to reach the receiver. Lucan knocked him unconscious with the flat of his sword. No grand execution, no holy explosion, just a hero tired of prophecy arguments. I approved. The temple stopped shaking. Outside, both armies received the same magical message from the loom, Black Crown sequence reinterpreted, no sovereign death required, ward succession divided by royal consent, the sunken field shall not open. Very bureaucratic miracle. My favorite kind. The war ended slowly, not instantly. Armies don't disappear because magic posts an update. But the central reason for fighting collapsed. Miravel publicly displayed Vost's forged holy glass. Lucan confirmed his signature had been copied. Human priests inspected the fragments. Demon archivists verified Serene's original prophecy records. King Garrick had no political reason left to continue. Miravel had no reason to cross the capital border. The armies withdrew over 6 days. Nobody became the final boss. I expected relief. Instead, I got paperwork, interrogations, reports, joint commissions, the true foundations of peace. Serene remained near me during all of them. Too near sometimes, not physically, logistically. My lodging changed to a building opposite the demon delegation. My guard schedule somehow matched hers. My meal breaks overlapped. I noticed on day 2. She didn't deny it. We discussed interference. This is coordination. You changed my room. The previous one had poor security. Who decided? She paused. Me? I waited. Her expression tightened. Then she said, would you like the old room back? Progress. Yes. Pain visible. I will arrange it. Good. The next problem was the list, not 6 marriage candidates. Everything. I asked Serene for every major intervention she made in my life. She gave me 3 books. 3. Miravel brought them personally because she thought my face would be entertaining. She was right. Transfers, promotions, threat assessments, anonymous warnings, rumors, letters intercepted, marriage prospects redirected, battle assignments changed. One tavern singer I had met twice suddenly received a royal entertainment contract in another city. I looked at Serene. She wanted to travel. You gave her the contract. She was talented. She flirted with me. That was unrelated. Miravel coughed. Serene looked away. I continued reading. At 24, I had applied for the Royal Explorer Corps. Rejected. Reason, insufficient naval experience. I had always found that strange because the position was inland. Serene had arranged it. Why? The expedition crossed the dusk border. So you would have entered another. I stared. You did not want me near you? Her answer surprised me. I wanted you near me too much. Silence. She had avoided direct contact because she knew what happened when she had access. That was almost responsible. Almost. If you entered another, she continued, I would have found reasons for you not to leave. There it was. No decoration. I appreciated the honesty more than the content. I closed the 3rd book. What do you want now? Serene's expression changed. Finally, no prophecy, no strategy, no 11-year plan. You. Simple. Dangerous. I waited. She added, near me. Still dangerous. By choice. Better. I do not know how to want that without preparing for every way it can be lost. That was the actual problem, not obsession alone, control as preparation. I understood because I had spent 11 years doing my own version, watching Miravel, avoiding relationships, changing my career, all because I feared a future I thought I knew. Serene manipulated me. I also let prophecy manipulate me. Different scale, same trap. I said, then start with 1 day. She frowned. One tomorrow? What happens tomorrow? Breakfast. She stared. That is your solution? It is an excellent meal. I have redirected military campaigns. I know. You want breakfast? Yes. No prophecy review? No. No guard placement? Normal palace guards. No background check on whoever serves tea unless they visibly carry poison. She considered. Reasonable. The next morning, we had breakfast. Nothing exploded. Serene looked suspicious of the peacefulness. I enjoyed that. Then I went to training. She didn't follow. She sent no agent. I checked twice. Day 2, we walked through the market. She knew half the merchants already, not because of me. Apparently, princesses do have normal duties. Day 3, Maravent joined us unexpectedly. Serene became quiet. Very quiet. Mara noticed. I noticed more. Serene did nothing. Afterward, she said, I dislike how easily she touches your shoulder. A loud feeling. I considered transferring her. Not allowed. Action. I did not. Good. I still know 3 positions she would accept. Serene. I said I did not. Progress remains stressful. Mirabelle returned to Nether after the peace signing. Before leaving, she handed me a small box. Inside was my old cloak clasp, the one from the burning carriage. I found it in Serene's room when we were children. I looked at her. She kept it for 11 years. Of course. Mirabelle smiled. You truly thought it was me. I would like that chapter of my life buried. Never. Then she leaned closer. If she scares you, send a message to the Demon Queen. Yes. You are offering protection from your older sister. Mirabelle looked completely serious. She is terrifying. Fair. Serene arrived behind her. I can hear you. Mirabelle hugged her, then whispered loudly. Good. The Demon Queen left. The wrong princess remained. Months passed. Serene became keeper of the Obsidian Loom officially, a position with strict oversight. Her idea, mostly. I insisted on independent archivists. She complained. Accepted. The prophecy records became public to both kingdoms, no single priest or princess could quietly rewrite labels again. Serene called transparency vulgar. I called it necessary. We argued. Healthy. My career changed too, I finally got the inland command I once requested. Irony. The posting lasted 6 months. Serene did not interfere. I knew because I checked every transfer signature personally. The first week away, she sent one letter. Very controlled, I am informing you that the Western Road has bandit activity. I replied, thank you. Second letter, the weather will turn cold. I replied, I own a coat. Third, Princess Yal of Eastmere is visiting your region. I stared for a long time, then replied, that sounds like her decision. 3 days later, another letter arrived, asterisk I know that one mattered. Asterisk. When I returned after 6 months, Serene waited at the city gate. No army, no prophecy, no hidden transfer, just her. She looked at me for several seconds, then said, you came back. I said I would. People say many things. I am not people. That is a terrible argument. Worked. She smiled, small, real. Our relationship became official a year after the sunken field. Not because a prophecy said it should. In fact, the new loon records were irritatingly silent about us. Serene hated that at first, then eventually admitted she liked not knowing. Sometimes. I proposed nothing. She proposed nothing. We simply stopped pretending breakfast was diplomacy. Then one evening she handed me a sealed envelope. I opened it. Marriage contract. 43 pages. I looked at her. She looked nervous. You wrote this? Yes. Any hidden clauses? No. Any transfer restrictions? No. Any rule preventing me from speaking to other women? Her mouth tightened. No. Any prophecy interpretation attached? No. Any punishment for leaving? No. I turned to page 43. One handwritten line, if Eden wishes to leave, Serene may ask him to stay once. I looked up. Once? I negotiated with myself. I laughed. She didn't. Then she said, you can say no. That was the line that mattered. I signed. Not because she had spent 10 years arranging my life. Not because I rescued her. Not because prophecy once tried to kill me to crown her. Because after all that, she finally learned to ask. Our wedding was small. Mirabelle attended in full Demon Queen armor because she said, human assassins respect aesthetics. Mara attended and deliberately hugged me in front of Serene. I nearly cancelled the friendship. Lucan drank too much. King Garrick left early. Normal wedding, mostly. Serene kept the old cloak clasp in her pocket. I asked why. Proof of what? That you chose me before you knew who I was. I shook my head. I rescued a child. Exactly. No crown, no prophecy, no title, just someone in danger. She liked that version. So did I. Years later, historians still argue about the Black Crown crisis. Some say Mirabelle was always the intended queen. Some say Serene should have ruled. Some claim the entire prophecy was misunderstood. They are all partly right. That is how prophecy works. The official record now includes one sentence I wrote myself: a future described is not a future owned. Serene called it sentimental. Then had it carved above the obsidian loom. Yandere hypocrisy remains one of marriage's small pleasures. She still gets jealous. Obviously. She still remembers names too easily. If a woman speaks to me twice, Serene knows her family, occupation, and probable travel schedule. The difference is she tells me she looked. Usually. She no longer changes the schedule. Usually. Last month, Mirabelle sent a letter inviting me to Nether for a military archive project, 6 weeks. Serene read it. Her golden eyes narrowed. She is doing this deliberately. Probably. She knows I dislike long visits. Definitely. You intend to go? Yes. Silence. Old Serene would already have found a border emergency. New Serene folded the letter, then asked, "Can I come for the first week?" I considered. Yes. Her shoulders relaxed. And after that, you go home. Pain. Accepted. Fine. No altered prophecy appeared. No bridge inspection closed the road. No sudden marriage scandal delayed me. We traveled together. 1 week later, Serene returned to the capital. I stayed in Nether. Mirabelle spent 6 days making jokes about the wrong princess. I deserved them. On the 7th evening, a courier brought one letter from Serene. No warnings, no intelligence reports, no maps. Only, I miss you. Come back when you are finished, I read it twice, then folded it into my coat. For 11 years, both of us had treated the future like an enemy. I watched the wrong woman because I feared what might happen. Serene moved everyone around me because she feared the same thing from the other side. In the end, neither prophecy nor obsession was the hardest thing to defeat. It was the belief that knowing a possible ending gave us the right to control the road toward it. I finished the archive project, stayed the full 6 weeks, then returned. Serene was waiting. Of course she was. She didn't ask why I took so long. She didn't mention the 3 women from the archive staff whose names she definitely already knew. She simply held out her hand. Open, not clenched. I looked at it, then remembered a burning carriage, broken glass, and a child I had mistaken for someone else. I took her hand. This time, at least I knew exactly which princess I was choosing.